Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Mr. Omai Lewis back at you with another video. Oh yeah, and today we're going to be talking about extroverts catering to your ego. Alright, so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. I'm looking for subscribers because I want to expand my message. I want to expand everything that I know about personal development and introverts. So if you can do me a favor, please subscribe, please like this video and comment down below. And if you can, if you really like this video, make sure you share it on your personal social medias because it really helps. Other than that, let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So let's tackle the ego first. So the ego, right? So, there's a little bit of a misconception with the ego. Like, there's a lot of people who tell you like, oh, you should annihilate your ego. You should get rid of it. You should stop having an ego, right? Because the ego itself, like, it gives you like this false sense of entitlement. And so you go around in the world, assuming that you deserve more than you actually, show for. And to some degree, this is good and this is bad, because to some degree, people who assume things, who assume that they're more deserving of what they currently have right now, they're deserving of the good things, the higher end things. For the most part, sometimes they do get them just based on the fact that they just assume it and they have that entitlement for it, as opposed to somebody who may be a little bit more realistic, maybe not have so much of an ego, but at the same time, they just they're very realistic as to where they currently are right now and what it will take in order to feel deserving of really having like the big high-end stuff, right? So there's a little bit more of a realistic tone there, where pretty much you match pretty much where you currently are in life. So maybe if you're right now in your life, you have pretty much everything settled, you have everything that you really want in life, then probably you'll be feeling more entitled to have like those higher end things. But if you're not currently where you're at right now, you feel like you're still missing something, you're still missing a little bit more work, maybe you need to upgrade your skills and stuff like that, so you may not feel so much as entitled to the big stuff yet. As opposed to somebody who has a big ego, they may not have their life together, but they still feel entitled enough to go after the higher end things. And so that's that, right? So the ego, that's pretty much what the ego is. And is it a good idea or a bad idea to have an ego? That's for a separate video. But in today's video, I want to talk specifically about the egoistic part of your belief system. So, like I said, you have an entitlement for things and maybe even people. You're a guy. You have this high sense of ego and entitlement to have a specific type of woman in your life, or vice versa. If you're a woman, maybe you have a high sense of entitlement for a specific guy, right? But you also have this egoistic part of your belief system, which means that you have your belief system and you're very, stuck to it. Like, that's pretty much you. So you identify yourself with your belief system, so that in turn becomes, that part of your ego where, you look up to your belief system. So here's the thing about extroverts and extroverts wanting to really capitalize on that, on the fact that this egoistic part exists, and they try to tap into it into an introvert, so that the introvert ends up doing things for the extrovert. And this is very manipulative in my opinion, and which is why I want to cover it in this video, because I myself have experienced it. I've had extroverts who tap into my belief system, my egoistic part, and so because of that, they cater it, not as opposed to not really challenge it or anything, but soothe it. And so here's where the dangerous part comes in, because you as an introvert, you may feel very entitled to the things that you're doing right now. So maybe you're like a writer, a programmer, a musician, and stuff like that, right? So you as an introvert, for the most part, you have gone after and pursued a career or something that's really, it's awesome, it's amazing, it's like very complex for the most part, because introverts for the most part pick very complex careers to pursue. And so there's a lot of like hard work and dedication and commitment involved in really pursuing that all the way, right? So an extrovert might notice this, and so what they'll do is that if they want to get you on their side, because you see, extroverts for the most part, like I said, they're not very smart as far as like being able to pursue complex things, but they're very resourceful. So they like to use resources a lot, and they like to use people as resources. So in at some point, you might experience the fact that a extrovert might reach out to you so that you become a resource for them, right? As far as like, maybe you're the tech guy, maybe you're the programmer, maybe you're the person who can write really well, or maybe you're the guy who makes the websites, maybe you're a marketer, stuff like that, right? And so you become that resource. Now there's nothing wrong with this. Like, everybody at some point will become a resource, whether you're pursuing a job or maybe you're doing a favor. We all want to help. So we all might have like skills and talents that, eventually we want to share with the world, that we want to be able to contribute in some way. The problem becomes is when, you become a resource, not by choice, but really by, somebody just pampering your ego. So what happens is that, the extrovert might recognize that you're a very good programmer, right? And so they want to get you to program something because they themselves can't do it. Of course they can't do it because they're an extrovert. But so they come up to you, and what they do is that they start talking very nice things about you being a very amazing and awesome programmer. So they might bring up things like, oh, like, I really like the way you program. I really like the way maybe you're a website programmer. They just say, they check out your website. They're like, wow, your website is really good. I like the way that you did this thing. That's really amazing. Like, you're a very good programmer, and I like the way that you do this stuff, and I can only imagine where you'll be in 2-3 years. You're going to be an amazing programmer. I'm pretty sure you're going to be making lots of money, and at the same time you'll be changing the world. You'll be changing the way websites, people interact with websites and stuff like that, right? So yeah, so they do that. They recognize that you have that egoistic part, and you as an introvert, of course, you're going to have that egoistic part because you want to push yourself. So you're going to have those big dreams of wanting to become that programmer that everybody loves and respects and everything, right? So that's amazing. That's very cool and everything. However, extroverts will try to get you to do that. They're trying to get you to do what they want, and so perhaps the deal isn't necessarily the best deal that you can possibly get. And at the same time, maybe you're not exactly investing into this extrovert because, like I said, introverts, we take a little bit of time to develop a relationship with someone. So it's very hard for us to really just jump in and be like, hey, you know what, I'll go ahead and do what you want, or stuff like that, because we have to go through a process of really going through that process of trust and really trusting whoever it is that we're going to be working for, we're going to be doing something for, or anything along those lines, right? So there's that. That's one thing right there that we gotta touch on. But here's the thing: like, extroverts, for the most part, like, they just assume that you're just a resource. So there is no humane, let's just say, aspect when it comes to the deal. So you become just a resource. You become someone that they just can use to get what they want, and pretty much they'll just discard you. Now, if you're an introvert and this is the deal that you want to go for it. I'm not saying to not pursue these type of deals. These deals are amazing. They're good, whatever, right? And that's probably a very like nice little example here where, anything goes wrong, it's not too big of a deal. You just cut whatever it is that you're doing, or maybe you finish what you're doing, you get paid or something like that, and it's over, right? The problem happens here is when an extrovert is trying to do this as far as a humane level. So like I said, for the most part, these type of deals are not very humane, but let's just say that they do it in a way where it seems humane. So let's just say a relationship. So let's say that, you as a guy, there's an extroverted girl who likes you, right? She pretends to really like you, and so what she'll do is that she'll pander your ego, meaning that she'll tell you all these nice things, and she'll never really really battle you, really challenge you, really put you in the right place and support you the right way. And what I mean by support is that she actually lets you know when you're doing stuff right, and when you're going a little crazy, you're not really being congruent to who you are, or you're not necessarily going after the ambition that you have. Because like I said, for the most part, once there's some trust developed between that other individual and an introvert, the introvert for the most part will feel comfortable enough to start opening up, and so the other person will probably know what that person's what the introvert's final purpose is, with whatever they're doing. So if they're programming websites, probably the other person knows that this introvert at the end of the day wants to create an amazing website that has all this amazing and very cool functionality that's very easy to use, but at the same time it's very interactive and it has very cool things in it. And so perhaps it's a very unique type of website that offers things that most websites would probably not offer. And so that's the end goal of that person. So what they'll do is that an extrovert, because and who knows, maybe they don't even like this guy. Like maybe they might like this guy, but they don't like him enough to really, spend a lifetime with him, have him be like, the man of her life and really have like a family and everything, right? So she just kind of wants him just for attention, so she just pretty much just wants him around. And that's pretty much the core of this video, which means that extroverts will do anything really to pursue attention. And so yeah, so I got caught off right there just thinking about how I've experienced this in the past, and it's just bad because so the girl will pretty much tell you that, hey, you're a very nice guy, this that, you want to go somewhere, she'll be like, yeah, let's go there. You like this one thing, yeah, let's do that. Oh, you want to eat this, yeah, let's eat that. It's very like there's no challenge, there's no incentive, there's no nothing really coming off of her. Like there's nothing, because at that point, you just became somebody that they can use, whether they're using you for your programming skills, or they're using you for, attention, or they're using you for companionship because they feel a little bit lonely. But at the end of the day, they don't really care about you, meaning that at the end of the day, they can easily just swap you with another person. If you can be swapped, if you at some point, you're in this position and you're questioning yourself right now that you've heard this, you're thinking about it, you're like, oh, maybe I have been in such a situation, right? Just think about it. Like, can she swap you? Can she just swap you for another person? Can you just leave, and then can she just put another person in your slot that has the same abilities as you do? Because let's be honest, there's a lot of people out there who want to be website programmers, and they want to be amazing, and they want to change the world and everything. So can another guy just like that, of your same age, just come in and replace you, and that'll be that? Because if there is somebody, then it's pretty much over. You can pretty much guarantee that this is not something that you want to pursue long term. And so you as an introvert, you have to be very careful, because extroverts, like I said, extroverts will do anything to get attention. So they'll cater to your ego. They'll make you feel like you are the shit, like you are the best person in the world, like you are amazing, that you are this incredible person, right? And they'll never challenge you. They'll always say that you are the best. Whatever your belief system is, they'll go ahead and agree with your belief system, all the way through. And they'll never really show who they really are if you really pay attention to it. So if you're questioning that you're an introvert, you're like, maybe I do have these type of extroverts in my life, who are just using me, and who are just, they just kind of want, to use you as a resource. Think about it. And they're really being honest with who they are. Do you really know these people, or do you just know the fact that they just cater to your ego, that they just make you feel good all the time? Like anything that you say, anything that you believe in, they'll agree with you. You say that you like pancakes more than you like waffles, they'll say that they like pancakes more than waffles, and they'll agree with you, and they'll do the same things with you as well. And so you have to be aware of these people, because these people are not real people. These people have a hidden agenda, and for the most part, at the end of the day, it's just attention. They want your attention be driven to them, and they know that by catering to your ego, you will give them that attention, because for the most part, we're sort of wired to pursue, the person, and give attention to the person who agrees with us all the time. That's where we feel most comfortable, because unless, of course, you've been through a lot of confrontation. If you're not used to confrontation, for the most part, you'll choose those type of people, because those type of people are always agreeing with you. They're always pandering to your ego, like I said. And so there will be zero to like very minimal amounts of confrontation. And so because of that, because there's that minimal confrontation, you'll most likely feel more comfortable going with those people as opposed to the people who are more real. They're more honest with you. They're more realistic. You know, they stand up for what they believe in. And sure, at that point, there might be a little bit more confrontation involved. But because there's more confrontation involved, those people tend to be a little bit more honest, and you know, they show more of who they are. And that's really the people that you want in your life. You don't want the people who are just after your attention and who just want to use you as a resource, because that's just not how it's going to work. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you now understand and you're able to catch these extroverts in your life who are just, you know, wanting to cater to your ego in order to boost your ego and make you feel better about your belief system. That way you concede and you do anything that they want you to do. And so whether that's for work purposes or whether that's a relationship or a friendship or, you know, anything along those lines, you know, always beware, you know, before you give out your resources, before you give out your emotions, you know, become vulnerable to these people. Make sure that you know exactly that these people are actually have good intentions and they actually want that humane side of you, as opposed to just treating you as a resource, as somebody who can just give them attention or as a tool. All right, so that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like I said, and make sure you share this video on your personal social medias, because it really helps. All right, so that is it. Until next time, take care.